What's going on, guys? Aero here, and guys, now that Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are out, there's only one thing that the whole Pokemon community is really looking forward to, and of course that's the big Pokemon game that's going to be coming out for the Nintendo Switch. Now, I think that it's safe to agree that this Pokemon game for the Nintendo Switch is most likely going to be the start of a brand new generation, as that would make the most sense, as whenever Game Freak moves on to new hardware, the first Pokemon games that always appear on new hardware are the start of a brand new generation. I mean, when we got the Game Boy Advance games, we got Ruby and Sapphire first. When we moved on to the DS, that's when we got Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. When we moved on to the 3DS, we got X and Y. So obviously now moving on to the Switch, we're probably going to get the start of a brand new generation. So yeah, even though so many people want Diamond and Pearl remakes, and myself included, I just don't think that they're going to be the first Pokemon games that are going to be on the Nintendo Switch. They're definitely going to be the games after, as that would just make the most sense. So I think we're going to see a generation come out before we get the Diamond and Pearl remakes, and that's going to be the start of a brand new generation. So we'll have Gen 8 games, and then we'll get the Diamond and Pearl remakes. So like I said in one of my previous videos, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are the final Pokemon games on the Nintendo 3DS and the end of Generation 7. And so with the current generation of Pokemon being over, it's finally time to predict what the next generation of Pokemon could be like and where it could be based off of. And I actually found this really cool post made by someone named Skinny Snubble on Twitter, and I'll have his post linked in the description if you guys want to go and check it out. But yeah, this person made a really detailed post on why he thinks that the next Pokemon generation is going to take place in Spain, and there's actually a lot of reasons here why he thinks it's going to be based in Spain, and there's actually a lot of things here that make sense as well, and I definitely got excited when I saw this, and I feel like it would be really cool to talk to you guys about this and kind of get your perspective. And do you guys think that this person could be onto something, or do you think it's just all a coincidence? So either way, this is still just speculation here, but I just found it really interesting how there's a whole bunch of these hints here, and it does make you kind of wonder if the next Pokemon generation, Gen 8, could actually be in Spain. So I'm going to be breaking up all of his points bit by bit so that we can go through all of his reasons why he thinks that the next Pokemon generation is going to be based in Spain. And yeah, hopefully you guys are ready, and let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that I want to clear up right from the start, because believe it or not, there's so many people out there that don't believe this, and it's that Pokemon regions are based off of real life places. And I think now it's pretty easy for a lot of people to understand and grasp this concept, because Gen 7 is very easy for people to see that it's based off of Hawaii, just because of how it's multiple islands and it's very easy to tell. But before that, people wouldn't believe that Pokemon regions were actually based off of real life places. Now I know a lot of you guys, and a majority of you guys would probably know that this is actually true, but a lot of times there would be people who just wouldn't think that, and they would think that Game Freak just comes up with all of these regions by themselves and they just design all of the cities and everything like that. But yeah, it's true that Pokemon regions have actually been based off of real life places, and I think there's a picture that I found somewhere where it shows all of the regions so far and where they've been based off of. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But now I want to show you this quote that Mr. Masuda said right before the release of Pokemon Black and White. So this was something that he said in 2010, and now obviously we don't have the best translation here because there's no easy way for us to get a full translation of exactly what he's trying to say, but you can still get an idea. I do have it in English here, so I'll put it up on your screen. And yeah, he just says here, "Finally, at last, tomorrow will be the day. We spent 4 years for creating Pokemon Black and White with great care. I feel it was long time and also short time. This time, Region's image is New York. Did you know that? Take a look for a moment for a header of this column's background picture. Yes, it's New York. There's Brooklyn Bridge on the right. I've been there twice and it was really fun simulating the city. I feel nostalgic. Entire Game Freak has put effort on this project. We proudly present our game. I hope you enjoyed this game. Ciao." So this is what he was saying basically when Pokemon Black and White were going to come out, and he's saying here, if you can kind of understand, like I know the words didn't make a lot of sense, but he was basically just trying to say that they put a lot of care and work into Pokemon Black and White, and that Pokemon Black and White is based off of New York. And obviously you can tell that. I mean, there were so many bridges there, it was like that entire city-like area, so it was pretty easy for a lot of people to tell. But yeah, Pokemon Black and White were based off of New York. And it's funny because he said there in that quote that he's been there twice, and so he's been there to see kind of how New York is like, and so that he could kind of incorporate that into his game. So another fairly recent region that we have is the Kalos region with Pokemon X and Y, and this region was based off of France, and I think that this was pretty easy for a lot of people to tell, as well as like with the Lumiose Tower. I think that it was easy for a lot of people to see that it was replicating the Eiffel Tower. But yeah, someone actually got to have an interview with Mr. Masuda, and they kind of paraphrased some of the points that came out during that interview, and I'll have that like excerpt on your screen right now. But the cool thing was that Mr. Masuda talked about how he visited France in 2000, but since he wanted to replicate France in into his Pokemon games, in 2011, he took his full research team there to study the country in more detail. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that whenever Mr. Masuda and the team at Game Freak want to develop a Pokemon region that's based off of a place in real life, they usually take a few people there to that place so that they can visit that place and see what it's like, and so that they can replicate it as best as they can in their Pokemon games. And they did this with the Alola region as well, and I think that there was like a excerpt at E3 as well in like 2016 when they were interviewing about the games at E3. Someone asked like, did you take a team with you to like the Hawaii area and like explore all of the stuff around there? And Mr. Masuda said yeah, it was like fun for him to go to that like tropical area and discover all of the stuff that they had in Hawaii and then replicate that into Pokemon Sun and Moon. So obviously here what's important is that he travels to all of these places whenever he wants to replicate them into his Pokemon games. And what's really interesting is that recently he traveled to Spain, and I think he was tweeting some stuff about this, and if I can find the tweets I'll put them on your screen right now. But I know that some people were able to find this information. I think that this could have been from his blog as well, as he does have like a blog where he posts some information. So if it's not from his Twitter, then it's most likely from his blog. But yeah, on October 31st, he tweeted something, and this is all translated in English, and it was talking about how it's like the Chestnut Festival Day in Spain. And then on November 1st and 2nd, he was talking about how they spent their time at the Salon del Manga, gathering information and participating in events. And I looked up what the Salon del Manga is, and it's in Barcelona, and it's like an anime and manga convention, so it's pretty interesting here. But the really weird thing about this is that in his like statement he says gathering information. So what kind of information could he be gathering in Spain? Like, I don't know. I mean, to me it just sounds like he might be gathering some information on how the place is like and what the culture is like in Spain, so that he could replicate that into his next Pokemon games. Now obviously we could just be thinking really into this, but I don't know, it just seems interesting how he's visiting Spain now and he really wants to kind of get some information there and see how it's like. So yeah, that's the first thing. Now the next thing that I want to talk about is nightlife in Spain, as if you look at a lot of tourist websites or websites for visiting Spain, a lot of them mention that Spain is famous for its vibrant nightlife. And it's pretty interesting how they're talking about Spain as it being famous for its nightlife, and how if you remember in Pokemon X and Y, there was actually that one lady who said that, did you know that there are moon dials too? So it's pretty interesting how it's talking about moon dials and how Spain is famous for its nightlife, so it probably makes sense that the moon dial is somehow connected with this nightlife here, so it might make sense that the Pokemon game could take place in Spain. And it's still interesting. I know some people were saying like maybe that since we don't know about this moon dial, it could have been in Pokemon Sun and Moon, like they could have tied it in somehow, and that didn't turn out to be the case. We still don't know about this moon dial, and I'm pretty sure the sun dial was what it was called in Pokemon X and Y, and the sun dial was what was like responsible for all of the Mega Stones and stuff like that. So could there be some like new form of Mega Evolution that we don't know about that's possible from this moon dial? Because we still haven't seen anything about this moon dial, and this person is saying that, did you know that there are moon dials? And especially with the moon dial and how it's like connected to nightlife and how Spain is famous for its nightlife, it's just pretty interesting how these two things connect to each other. Now this next point here is one that I don't agree with fully, as I don't think it makes a lot of sense. I feel like it's just a coincidence, but it's still worth pointing out, and it has to do with some brand new Pokemon from Gen 7. So this is about the Oricorio forms and also the Tapus as well. Now I don't know if the Tapus and Oricorio forms are meant to be connected to each other. Like, I know that they have the same colors, but they're not the same type, so I don't know if they were meant to be like that or if it's just a coincidence that they all look the same. But yeah, basically what this person was saying is that the Oricorio form and also the Tapu that corresponds with it all signify one country, and there's some reasons why the person believes that, and they're saying that the only one that's missing is one that would make sense for Spain. So I'll give you guys an idea of what he's trying to say. I'll try to explain it for you guys. So yeah, let's start with the Oricorio cheerleader form and also Tapu Koko. So you guys can see right here that this is supposed to replicate North America, as you've got the cheerleader Oricorio here, and then like the top of this Tapu Koko is supposed to be like a Native American headdress. So that's what's supposed to be replicating North America, as you got like cheerleaders to like something that it happens in North America, and then you've got this Native American headdress, and also the Tapu, when it's close together, it looks like a rooster. So the next one that we have here is Tapu Lele, and then the Hula Dancer Oricorio. So this is supposed to represent Hawaii, as obviously we've got the Hula Dancer Oricorio, and hula dancing is something that's very common in Hawaii. And also here for Tapu Lele, you can see that it's got a hula skirt and also a bikini top, so that would make sense for Hawaii, as that would just fit the culture for it. And then also when Tapu Lele is closed, it's in the shape of a butterfly. Then we've got Tapu Fini, which is supposed to be representing Japan, and obviously the Oricorio form here makes sense as well, because in Japan you've got like fan dancers all the time, and so this Oricorio is supposed to be like a fan dancer, so I can see how that makes sense. And also for Tapu Fini, the design here is supposed to be like a kimono, I think that's how they say it in Japan, and so I think that since kimonos are common in Japan, that's how this Pokemon would be related to that. And also when Tapu Fini is closed, it represents a swordfish, which is something that would replicate Japan as well. And so that only leaves one more Tapu remaining, which is Taboo Bulu. And so this person believes that Taboo Bulu was like a hint as to the next Pokemon region, as all of these other Tapus and whatever places they're supposedly representing are already in Pokemon games. So you've got North America with like New York and Pokemon Black and White, Hawaii is obviously the Alola region with Pokemon Sun and Moon, and then Japan is the Kanto region with Pokemon Red and Blue. So Taboo Bulu is supposedly supposed to be representing Spain, and the reason for that is if you look at the top of Taboo Bulu, you can see the horns on it, so that's supposed to be like a bullhorn. And if you guys remember, if you guys don't know, bullfighting is common in Spain, so I think that that's what the person was trying to say here. Because of how Tapu Bulu's got the horns, that somehow makes sense with bullfighting, and I can kind of see that. And also how Tapu Bulu has like the ring around it, and you guys know what bulls, they always have a ring around like their noses and stuff like that, so I could kind of see how Tapu Bulu is supposed to be representing Spain. And the other thing is also with the Oricorio form, as the Oricorio form here is also a flamenco dancer. The red one is a flamenco dancer, and the flamenco dance, I'm pretty sure, also originated from Spain, so I can see that here. And then also when Tapu Bulu closes, it's supposed to represent a bull, so I can see here a lot of people are saying that this might make sense as to why Tapu Bulu is supposed to be representing Spain. I just think that this is all a coincidence. I don't think that Game Freak could have thought really deep to have all of these Tapus and Oricorio forms be replicating other places in the world, and then have Tapu Bulu be like a hidden one here. Who knows, maybe they did really think that far into it, I just don't know. I think that we're just kind of thinking this is all too much of a coincidence here to make it seem like Game Freak would actually put in such a hint like that. And also I know how some people were saying like Tapu Bulu, the top of it kind of looks like a sombrero that it's wearing, and a sombrero is also like Mexican culture, but I feel like that wouldn't be related to Spain, as I don't think sombreros are in Spain, right? Like, isn't that a Mexican sort of thing? I can still see how it's like in the Spanish culture and it could make sense with Spain, but I don't know, I just don't feel like any of these Tapus and Oricorio forms are somehow related to a hidden region that they're trying to say to us. But what do you guys think about that? You can let me know down below. Now this next thing here is something that I can agree with if the next Pokemon game turns out to be based in Spain, and it's that it's most likely going to be a sequel-like game to Pokemon X and Y with the Kalos region. And the reason that I'm saying that is because I think that we can all agree that the Kalos region left a lot of questions unanswered for us. And I know so many people were saying like, when are we going to get these mysteries around Kalos solved? And I think that the reason that they could be doing that is that they want to have a sequel-like game that's going to answer these questions. So I know some of you guys might be thinking, well Aero, then what's the point of the Alola region? And I think that the Alola region was sort of like that vacation region for us to kind of take a break from Kalos, and maybe they didn't want to do a sequel-like game right away, but I really think that if they do base a game in Spain, it's most likely going to be like how Pokemon Gold and Silver were sequels to Pokemon Red and Blue. I think that that's exactly what they would try to do here. And even if you look on the map here, Spain is right next to France. It's basically just like Johto and Kanto. If you guys remember that, like Johto was right next to Kanto and you could travel here. So maybe that could make sense here as well. Like maybe if this brand new region is based in Spain, you could actually go back and visit the Kalos region. Like you could have a second region, just like how in Johto you could go back and visit Kanto. And there's no reason why this couldn't be possible now if it's going to be on the Nintendo Switch, as the Nintendo Switch clearly will have enough power to be able to do this. And also another thing that I wanted to add is that Spain is also known for its railways and like using its railroads. And what's interesting is that when we played through X and Y in the Kalos region, there was also a lot of railways and like train tracks that were in that game as well. So it could make sense if the games were connected somehow. Like it would make sense if, because of how Spain is also known for its railways, it could be connected to the Kalos region. And also what's really cool is if you guys remember, I think there was one town, I could be wrong about this because I haven't played Pokemon X and Y in like forever. I feel like there was one town that had a railway where like you weren't able to travel on it, and I think it was called Koroway Town. I actually just looked this up, it was Koroway Town. And yeah, Koroway Town actually had like a railroad track, and I think someone said, I think there was an NPC in there, that in that like town, who said like this railroad takes you to some place far away, but you were never able to go on it. Like how cool would it be if it actually took you to this brand new region in Spain, and that's how you were able to travel back to Kalos, like if you ended up visiting Kalos as like the post-game adventure in that. Like it would be so cool, as I know in Koroway Town there was like that railroad track that no one ever used, it was just there, and it would be really cool to incorporate that somehow into the game. But yeah, it's just interesting how Spain is also known for its railways, and we did have railways in Pokemon X and Y with the Kalos region. And finally, the last hint that I want to talk about as to why the next Pokemon games might be based in Spain is with the brand new Pokemon movie that's coming out. So if you guys don't know, we actually got like a small teaser trailer for the next brand new Pokemon movie, which is going to be coming out in 2018. And the one thing that I want to show you guys right now is this picture of Ash. And the really cool thing about this picture is that if you look at Ash's collar, the colors on Ash's collar are exactly the same colors as the flag of Spain. And it even looks the same exact way with the stripe going through it. Now, I don't know if that this is just a coincidence or if it could be some hint as to the next region for the Pokemon games, but it still raises an eyebrow how they're exactly the same colors and it even has that stripe going right through it. And so yeah, those are all of the supposed hints that we have as to how the next Pokemon region could be based in Spain. Definitely leave a like if you guys enjoyed this video and comment down below on what you guys think about this. Do you guys think that we're all just thinking really far into this, or do you guys think that there are some legitimate hints here that could hint that the next Pokemon region could be taking place in Spain? Definitely let me know all of your thoughts down below. If you're new to this channel, then please be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to have some more Pokemon content in the future, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero if you ever want to tweet me something or ask me something. I'm usually able to reply to everyone on Twitter, so definitely go and follow me there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.